Cosmere can be a confusing place.
From allomancy to surge binding, there's a lot to look out for.
We're your hosts and escorts to the realms. I'm Griff.
And I'm Alex.
And this is the Silverlight Guide to the Cosmere.
Yep. Okay, so that was the intro. We have...
Yes, because of course you create no pressure by saying no pressure.
Oh boy. Yeah, no, for the listeners, the last words out of my mouth right before the recording went live was no pressure. And that sets a threshold for anxiety that I can't handle. So what we're going to do is we're going to introduce our very special guest host.
Yes.
He owns the channel. Is own the right word?
I don't know. I guess technically.
Is?
I mean, I believe
I started it, whatever.
You started it. You are the only person on it, so therefore we could just refer to it as his channel.
Oh, yes. He has a YouTube channel, Generic Entertainment. For you Cosmere nerds, you may have seen some of his videos. I personally am a big fan. I'm trying really hard not to fanboy right now, actually. And this is Nathaniel.
Thank you. Hello.
Thank you for joining Silverlight Guide to the Cosmere.
Yeah, thank you for having me. That's a little bit hard to believe that you're trying hard not to fanboy, because I'm I don't know. I just started making videos in my room, and I wasn't expecting it to become anything. So yeah, it's very nice to be here and have this opportunity.
Fantastic. The first thing I want to say is that I went to your About page on YouTube. And on that page, it has the exact number of views that you have received on your videos. And
yes.
normally, it doesn't matter. But I wanted to tell you what number it was on when I landed there. It was on 366,996 views. So it is all multiples of threes. And as somebody who took way too many math courses in college, that was very serendipitous for me. So that's and I took a screenshot in case anybody anywhere wants that. Because I didn't want people to be like, you really sure? I mean, there weren't that many multiples of three, and there were.
There were. It was all multiples. It's three all the way down.
For any of our listeners, if you'd like a screenshot of that, email us at guidetothecosmere@gmail.com. All right.
It's very fortuitous.
It is fortuitous. 3 is a magic number when it comes to Rosharan.
Is it?
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
3 shards.
To rule them all.
And
3 shards, 3 moons, 3 bondsmiths. Probably.
We're only at 2 at the moment.
We're only at 2. By the end of the 10th book.
So there's an interesting thing, which is, will we have 3 or will we have 6?
That's right.
Because one bondsmith currently is a bondsmith of a hybrid light.
Mm-hmm. Which implies the existence of more.
1 for odium.
Oh, right, yeah.
There are 9 unmade, and if we go off of what the unmade are and what the sibling is, and Night Watcher and Stormfather are, I mean, could you not... But is that really... I
don't think the unmade are quite the same thing, because, the sibling was a creation of cultivation and... Wait, was it the Stormfather and cultivation, or was it cultivation and honor?
I do not remember.
Oh, man, I think it was cultivation and honor.
Okay.
Wait. Before we go too far into this conversation, we have some updates.
Okay, that's fair.
We keep doing this.
This is what this conversation will be about. Let's go tangent. We can start diving deep afterwards.
All right. First thing, Tress book update. The printer is printing more. Okay, that's if you're getting this news through our podcast, you've probably gotten the news elsewhere. Indiegogo book. Not a whole lot for the White Sands graphic novel.
Right.
There's not a lot updated there, although they have said the printer is doing it faster than previously thought.
Well, that's good.
All right, Shadowverse box for the Year of Sanderson is being shipped. Go listen to our episode on that.
Yes, to find out what is inside and our reaction to it.
Yep, and then finally, and some cool news, the Stormlight Archive tabletop RPG is going to have beta testing later this year.
Oh,
and you can sign up if you were a part of, I think what they implied was if you were a part of the Kickstarter, you're going to be given priority access to that, which I was.
Okay.
Exactly. So
cool.
You were about to count yourself out, Griff, but you have me.
I do, and I can also say that I would be more than willing to, with the beta test, run some things if
Indeed.
or you could run if you desire.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
we can invite Nathaniel from Generic Entertainment to participate if that's something that he would like to.
Yeah, sure. I would.
Do you do tabletop RPGs?
Not really. I've dabbled in it before, but I would not consider myself knowledgeable on them at all. So I would have to. It would definitely be an uphill curve for me.
I mean, it depends on how tough the rules for the tabletop RPG are, because there are some that are very simple and some that are much more complex, and I honestly don't know what base they're using for this game, so
we can find out together and create some episodes about it potentially. So we'll keep you in the loop with that.
That actually might not be a bad series.
That'd be an awesome series to tide us over between the Dragonsteel Con and next year's release of Stormlight 5.
Use Roll20.
Yeah.
If we're doing.
Did they say when that's going to be coming out?
Which one?
The Stormlight RPG.
It'll be fully released next year. Although, with given every delay ever, late next year or...
Well, I mean, hopefully they'll release a PDF even if they don't get a print version now.
Sure, that's true.
So hopefully we'll get that a little bit sooner than any kind of a full book.
Yeah, that'd be great. Because I know that what they want to do with it is use it as a vessel to shove Stormlight miniatures down our throat. And I, for one, am completely prepared for that. So,
yes, you are.
I mean, they basically admitted that the miniatures campaign is just like a forerunner to this bigger RPG project.
So I am here for it.
And what I'm kind of hoping is that something like a Stormlight RPG will lead into a full Cosmere RPG that has a universal rule set to cover any kind of investiture usage.
That would be fantastic. That really would. That would let the Cosmere live forever outside of the 36 books he has planned for it, which is already a ridiculous amount. So hold on, maybe we need to pump the brakes there. But really, creating our own stories in that, I mean, it's a really solid.
I think the one thing that I see being a difficulty with any kind of Cosmere tabletop RPG is the fact that Brandon does not set monstrous enemies in his books. Like, we get the mention of the White Spy.
Midnight Essence, that we're going to talk about later in this episode, I think could be the answer to your concern.
Maybe, but... Oh, wait, are we talking about the black spores from Tress?
But when Dalinar goes back in the visions, the inky black things that attack him are called Midnight Essence.
Okay, well, and that's what I'm saying. Here's the thing, though. Like, yes, in each book there's usually one or two, but that's it. Yeah. So, like, with a Stormlight RPG, the Midnight Essence would work. Cosmere as a whole might run into a bit more of an issue.
Just autonomy keeps coming up with the creatures. And that's it. Autonomy,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It's just autonomy all the way down.
At this point, that's when it kind of feels like. Who helped Odium kill a bunch of shards? I mean, was it not autonomy?
Probably.
We have no confirmation.
Yeah, okay.
But it's also a strong possibility.
Yeah. Okay, so that was it for the updates. And before we get going on all of the rest of the magic in the third of our 3 episodes on the magic of Rosharan. Obviously, giant spoilers for everything. And if you've made it this far in this episode and sorry we didn't say that sooner, but
Well, it's also like at the top of our show.
Yeah.
So
it is.
if you made it this far and you did not realize that we would absolutely not be spoiler free, then I believe that is on your head.
Yes. Okay. So, jumping right into it.
All right.
The fused, the singers. Who are the singers?
Okay, I was about to say, are we doing singers first? Because that seems like a more important thing to start into other than the fuse.
Yes. Yeah.
The singers are a people that are native to Roshar.
Yes.
And
they have cool colored carapace.
Yes.
And
a gem heart.
And a gem heart. That's right. And they are definitely not crab people. Probably.
Yes.
I mean, everything evolves to crab, right?
Yeah. But I mean, I'll be straightforward here. The listener bits, the listener singer, fused, all the forms. I tried to pay attention when I was listening to the book.
Right.
The key emphasis on the word tried. So.
Understood.
That's why we brought on Nathaniel, who has never said that he is an expert at any of this, but we thought having a third would be useful for this conversation.
I will go ahead and confirm that I am not an expert on any of this, but I will do my best.
I think somewhere someone once said, the more errors you make in content, the more engagement you get.
Is that true?
It is occasionally true.
Yeah, it sounds like it might be. I know if I make a factual error in one of my videos, then I definitely get comments. Lots of comments making the same, pointing out the same thing. So
people telling you that you are wrong.
Exactly. Which in your latest episode or video, which was on hard sci-fi, I believe. That's not real hard sci-fi, which I did not know hard sci-fi was even a term. You did include a brief pop-up that I tried really hard to pause the video for. No, but it was
I made a mistake, and I made a couple of mistakes that some people have pointed out, because I used a lot of physics terms in that video and I don't actually know that much about physics. But people will point that stuff out which is fine. I appreciate it. So
people are ruthless.
Yeah, but
they lack ruth.
Actually, ruth is a word, by the way.
What does ruth mean?
It means restraint.
Oh.
So ruthless means lacking restraint.
Huh.
Interesting.
Is that where the meaning of the name comes from?
Yes, because it's like hope or joy, insofar as it's a descriptor that was turned into a name.
And the greatest of these is Ruth. Okay. Tangent 3?
Well,
technically,
are we counting for just this
5
episode?
Yes.
Okay.
We're not going to count tangents.
No,
let's not. It's already been too late. Okay, but back to our main topic.
Yes.
As I wrote in the notes, anyone we consider a Parshendi is a singer. The listeners,
specifically a listener, right?
Well, so the listeners are a group of Parshendi that split off from Odium and
that's right.
And the Odium and the fused.
And the singers.
And the singers, yeah. But they are singers, but they called themselves the listeners because they left Odium and the fused. So there's a group of Parshendi that were then turned into the slave form,
right?
Which were exploited by the Alethi and everybody else. So that's horrifying. Yeah, that was boy, the build up to that. Anyways, so the listeners are that group that lived on the Shattered Plains,
right?
That Venli and Eshonai and Jaxlim and so on. And so there at the end of the Rhythm of War, or Rhythm of War, not the Rhythm of War. At the end of Rhythm of War, we know that some listeners still exist. So, okay, listeners, still a useful term to use.
Right.
Even though most of them are dead, right? There's just like that one small group that Finley meets up with at the end.
Yes.
But yeah.
And I bet they're going to be real important. I hope. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully they have a comeback in 10 years time in Era 2.
Yeah.
Their population has gone up a little. Yeah. Well, I guess that's not much time, but yeah.
15 years, 15, 20, 10 years.
Something like that, yeah.
I wonder how many they can... Anyways.
Well, 20 years is a generation, so...
But what's the generation for the Parshendi?
That I don't know.
Yeah.
We haven't gone deep into Parshendi reproductive habits, so...
Other than mate form.
I mean, we know mate form exists, but apart from that...
Yeah. So maybe even less reproduction than humans? You know what? We're going to leave that one there. But the horrifying thing about the Parshendi is the fused. I think the fused are terrifying.
The fused are terrifying, and they seem to take Parshendi's bodies for their own.
They do. They possess them. Super creepy.
Extremely.
Super weird.
Especially because they don't, at least from what we've seen so far, which is just Pursuer, they don't seem to hold the life that they've stolen in very high regard.
We've seen other fused. We've seen the named fused.
Okay, let me rephrase that. We have not seen one in battle. Or one go down.
Like,
what do you mean? Die apart from Pursuer?
Raboniel.
Raboniel gets stabbed with like the specific the void light dagger.
Yeah.
Right, that like kills her permanently. So that wouldn't really apply to her. Because once she dies, she won't like inhabit a new body.
That's right.
Right.
So we've seen her do a true death.
We have seen Pursuer do a true death.
Yeah.
At the end with L. Yeah. Which is that was the epigraphs of the final part of Rhythm of War, where it's just L talking about the Knights Radiant. Amazing, in my opinion.
That was a good build-up, yeah.
Yeah. Radiant. And that was it. I was like, oh.
I really like the moral dilemma, though, presented by the way the fused come back and inhabit the bodies of the singers. Because it's just like, whenever the Radiants and the fused are battling, they know that for every fuse that they kill, and that's only going to result in the death of another singer. It's just an innocent, ordinary singer, and so they have to like kind of find this balance between, how many fuse to kill to like protect the people that we're trying to save, like at the beginning of Rhythm of War, for example, and how many are we willing to spare for the sake of these other innocent singers whose bodies they're going to inhabit? I just think that's a really interesting dynamic.
That is.
I like how that was built into the story.
Yeah. It'd be great to see even more of that, really.
Yes.
Or more, maybe more humanization of some of the fuse. We get a lot of that.
Yeah.
Leshwi.
Yeah, to the point where we almost start forgetting that Leshwi is at least part of the Betrayal Singers, if not a member of the Fuse.
Yeah. So. And yeah, that's when I started reading the Stormlight Archive, and I know Sanderson has touched on this in some of the things he said. He really tried to make the Parshendi relatable, even though they're an alien race.
Mm-hmm.
And I think,
in the Way of Kings, though, they're very distant initially. With the exception of Shin/Relaine, in the Way of Kings, they're very much kind of like this other figure who's just kind of there to serve the purpose of like killing the Bridgemen and having this whole war plot point. And it's kind of only at the end of the Way of Kings, where there are like other moments throughout, but you start at the end of the Way of Kings, especially, you start realizing that, you know, these are actual people. And then, of course, in Words of Radiance, it goes even farther. But
yeah. It really blossoms and builds to the end of Rhythm of War. For that humanization. And Kate Redding does a really great job.
Oh, she does a phenomenal job
of putting that humanization into Leshui's voice when she starts asking about her friend, the Honor Spren, to Venli. And your heart just breaks.
Yes.
Because you know that there's like no way that Honor Spren is alive now. That definitely dead-eyed. If not somehow otherwise gone. Anyways.
I have not listened to the audiobooks, so I'm missing out on that aspect of it.
A little bit, because if audiobooks are anything that you would consider touching, I'd say that a large part of my love of the Stormlight Archive has to come from Michael Kramer and Kate Redding's.
I hear that a lot,
performances. Yeah,
no, they are phenomenal.
Sometimes a narrator can really break a book. I've only found a couple like that, so audiobooks are great for me. I think they really add. So, Michael Kramer, when he reads the chapter Moments, when Kaladin gets the meets with Tien in the storm, goosebumps.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. Moving on.
Although I'm sure the most impactful passage in the audiobook, though, is the passage in Words of Radiance with all the numbers just being read straight for like a solid minute.
It was, I think it's a minute and a half or 2 minutes. Yeah. No.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Because he reads it 1, 1, 2, 1, 5.
Just making sure you really understand and hear each number.
Yeah. Oh boy. It was, I listened to them as I drive to work, and that was a really, really boring drive. Same with the, off topic, same with the, I think the intro to Warbreaker, they read out everybody who was a beta reader.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
19 minutes. I was like, oh God, why didn't I just skip to the next chapter? Anyways, coming back to the Fused, so our last episode we talked about the Surges,
right,
and the Knights Radiant.
Yes,
and so now we're going to talk about how the Surges apply to the Fused, and what's special about that. Only 9 of the Surges are used by the Fused, because of the fake one. Adhesion is not. That's but they do.
Right.
I think Sanderson took the Surges and really turned them on their head. He subverted my expectations when it came to what the Fused can actually do. Obviously, the flying one is not novel.
Right.
Yeah, okay, they can fly. Yeah. But the ones that can go into the ground. That was really cool.
The Makaim, was it?
That sounds.
Those are my favorite kind of Fused, probably. Yeah. It's just such a cool image.
Yeah, and such a horrifying image when they were stopped from coming out of the ground once the tower was reactivated in favor of the Knights Radiant.
Yeah,
that made my stomach. Yeah, but that was.
But the Knights Radiant, though, they can use that same surge, from what I understand, right? We just haven't seen anyone who can do that.
I believe so.
Venli has access to the same surge that those ones use.
Cohesion, right?
That is right, yeah. Because she's able to... unless I'm misremembering.
No,
I think that the one that she's using to kind of like bring the memories out of the stone and control the stone is the same one that the Makaim used to like flow through the stone.
Yeah.
It's just they're like a lot more controlled than we've seen any of the Radiants use.
Yeah. I'm curious to see if we get Radiants that eventually do dip their whole body underground.
Yeah.
I would be apprehensive as anything to do that. Although I guess if I had the power, maybe I would try. Yeah.
I wonder what the limits of that are like.
Right.
How deep can you go? Can you just go straight down?
Right. And
to
then
the earth and
then is
going.
the rest of are your thermal receptors still active? Can you feel when you're getting hotter? Or are you just gonna keep going and then oof. I don't want to think about being burned alive where nobody can hear you scream.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that'd probably be better for them, but that's can't hear you scream because that would be a horrible death. What else have we got? Other novel applications of the surges via the fused.
We have Lesian, of course.
That's true. That is, and that's the surge of transportation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've only seen the one of him, right? Or the one type of.
Yeah, I think they mentioned that his type is like extremely rare.
Yeah, it would have to be if there's for sure. That was such an interesting way to open Rhythm of War, introducing that, and it's really an interesting power in the terms of its limitations with the bodies, having 3 bodies before you have to go recharge. Yet another example of Brandon Sanderson's excellent magic systems.
It feels very like video game mechanic-y.
It does.
Which is like something, I think that's like a common trend in his magic systems. He seems to, they're inspired by the sorts of limitations that like video game developers put into games to like, make them challenging and entertaining. Yeah. And he kind of like applies that same philosophy to his stories. Yeah.
Yeah. And I enjoy magic systems like that a lot.
Yeah.
I think the last interesting thing, I mean, we could go through more surges, but the whole crux of the Stormlight Archive is built around the fact that the fused are bound to Braze by the Oath Pact until one of the heralds breaks. And it's not all of them have to break, it's just one herald has to break. And then a desolation can occur.
No. I thought all of them had to break and return for. Nope. Well, wasn't the one guy remaining on Braze enough to keep them there, though the rest of them left?
It was
right,
but they weren't there originally. Well, yeah, you were saying it, but
yeah, they didn't go back and then break. They just never went back. So the Oath Pact's terms were still kept because Tom.
Wait, then what about the Prelude chapter where they talk about
massive spoilers right now for Stormlight 5, and one of the most common predictions is that I believe it's Chanarok is, and Nathaniel, stop me if you don't want to hear this.
No, I already know this theory.
Yeah,
of course.
Shallan's mother is Chanarok.
Right.
Shallan killed Chanarok.
Okay.
Chanarok broke 3 days after getting back, or something like that. Like, right after getting back to Braze, she broke. So Taln never broke. Chanarok did. And
it's confirmed that Taln never broke. Like, that's
exactly.
that one's part not that part's not speculation. Like, we do know that. So we know that something had to have happened.
Right.
Taln never broke.
Yeah.
Which is why we're getting a Taln miniature in the Stormlight Archive box for the Year of Sanderson.
Oh, okay.
Because he never broke. And they're hoping that he will also never break in shipping.
Obviously, because that's exactly what it means.
That's exactly. Yeah, but no, it's such a strong statement. It gives me goosebumps sometimes. Yeah, that's the
current theory.
Yeah, that's the theory. Because Shallan killed her the night of Gavilar's death.
Right. Yes.
Right.
The thing about that theory is just like Shallan has already been through so much, and she's like, her entire story arc is just about digging up past trauma after past trauma after past trauma, and now you're going to add like another thing on top of all that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
he is the most. Where I think Sanderson is trying to break the record for the most broken, emotionally broken character
Yeah, seriously, I can't even imagine what her reaction to finding that out would be. She would.
Yeah, no,
that would be rough for her.
Well, maybe he'll turn it into a positive way, and she'll reabsorb. She reabsorbed Radiant, right?
Yeah.
And Veil is still out.
Right.
So maybe he'll turn it into a positive way, and she'll kind of come back all pieces together after that. So, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. If he can do it, that's great. If he can't, I mean, we're going to enjoy the book probably anyways. So,
yes.
Oof. Can't wait. November next year cannot come soon enough.
I know.
I say that now, and then I'll blink, and it's like here, and I'm like,
exactly.
Where did the time go? Why do I feel so old? All right. Moving right along. I think it's time to talk about cultivation.
Wait, before we move on to cultivation, can I just bring up one more thing about the singers?
Absolutely.
So the one thing that is a little bit confusing to me about the singers is we know that they predated humans on Roshar, but I don't think we've got it confirmed when they were created or when they evolved or whatever on Roshar. And that leaves me wondering, why is their anatomy so similar to humans? And I tried to find out if there were any wobs about this, considering that they had never had any contact with humans before. And the only thing I could find was a wob where Brandon said the singers were created to be a vital part of the Rosharan ecosystem. He doesn't really go further there. He doesn't explain what that means, but that seems to imply that the singers were probably created by honor or cultivation, or maybe both of them. Similar to how Rune and Preservation created humans on Scadrial. And presumably they created them based off humans from Yolen, although that isn't confirmed. That's just pure speculation on my part.
Sure.
But then that makes me wonder, why are they like slightly different from other humans? If they were created to be like humans, why weren't they created to be just humans like everywhere else in the Cosmere? It's a bit of a puzzle that
I may have somewhat of an answer for you.
Okay.
Because when I learned this, it tickled my brain so much that I remembered it. Adelnasium made the Rosharan system itself.
Okay.
So it would have made the singers the way they are, especially off of that wob stating that they were made to be an integral part of the environment or ecology. We do know, and I'm trying to find.
I know that we know that high storms do predate the shattering.
Yes.
I know we know that. So that, I guess that does make me think that the singers might as well. Yeah. But he hasn't confirmed that either way. That would be very interesting if they did predate the shattering.
Yeah. There's let's see, if any of our listeners know for certain, please email us at guidetothecosmere@gmail.com, or give us a voice message through Spotify's system. I can't pull up exactly where I know. So I'm finding this article on Tor.com right now that's saying Roshar was personally and intentionally created by Adelnasium. So I can't find the exact thing. But yes, building off of that, the storms are still there. But then, the Stormfather didn't come to inherit. Well, did the Stormfather absorb honors? Kind of.
From what the Stormfather says, no. He was a Spren, an incredibly powerful Spren that was almost kind of like Honor's emissary in the world. And I think considering they're made out of Spren, I doubt he has enough memory to return to what he was before.
Okay.
That's at least my interpretation.
Well, there we go. All right. Moving on to cultivation now, maybe?
Right. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Cool. Good point on the... I'm really interested to know more about the ecology and how it was all made. And We need a compendium, Brandon. We need a compendium.
Yeah, I just want a Cosmere book that's like no story, just like pure lore for 1,000 pages.
Yep.
You know, it's just like everything about the flora and fauna of every single planet.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
It'd be fantastic. I hope that happens eventually by, if not him, somebody that is blessed by him to do that.
Yeah.
So, cultivation. Cultivation can do some cool stuff.
Yes.
Cultivation's a shard. What is cultivation doing?
She seems to be
playing 4D chess.
Playing 5D chess, to be honest.
Yeah.
Between her and her Spren offspring thing, the Night Watcher, Night Mother, is it Night Mother?
It's the Night Watcher, right?
Watcher, right? Night Watcher?
I would have said for sure it's Night Watcher, but now you're making me wonder.
I know, but now I'm getting confused with Skyrim lore and the Night Mother and the Dark Brotherhood. Boy, that's some deep cuts in my brain. Night Watcher, but then I get that confused with Terry Pratchett's Night Watch.
I think Night Watcher is correct, because isn't that the title they give it for a creature that will accept payment for services?
It is Night Watcher.
Oh,
I just looked it up. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, Night Watcher. So they grant boons that are very tropey, kind of double-edged swords in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Which that phrase never made sense to me, because why are you grabbing a sword by either edge? Really, we can look that up later. The coolest one, definitely Dalinar's, right? Well, actually, that's up for debate. We get the whole Oathbringer book from Dalinar's kind of not remembering his past.
Yeah.
But the 5D chess aspect. Nathaniel, do you think that cultivation is generally positive or a generally negative force on Roshar? Or neutral?
Boy. I want to say neutral.
Yeah.
Probably. I think she has her own kind of goals, similar to a lot of shards, and those might align with humanity and might not. I'm still honestly a little bit baffled with what she's trying to do with Taravangian, because she kind of approaches him at the end of Rhythm of War and acts like this is sort of the culmination of her grand plan. But, you know, as we see shortly after that, it seems like Taravangian is going to be quite a lot worse for Roshar as Odium than Reyes was. So it doesn't seem like an exactly helpful thing that she manipulated him all along into accepting this position. So yeah, I'm a little bit baffled by her, to be honest.
Yeah, I think in terms of Cosmere wide intentions, definitely not as negative as, say, Ruin would be.
Yeah.
But the way that she's going about it is very, very neutral, or very, I mean, we know that they can see into the future somewhat, right? Like they don't know what will happen for certain, but they do know what can happen. And the way that she pruned Dalinar, but only for a little bit of time, and then did what she did with Taravangian, neutral to antagonistic to Odium, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe more of an antagonist against the negative, more so than a force for good.
It makes me wonder if her antagonism towards Odium is more of a personal grudge against Reyes specifically than against the Shard of Odium.
Could totally be.
We really don't know anything about their relationship to each other, at least that I can recall, especially like before the Shattering. But
True.
we know that Reyes was always described as being a kind of, not very nice individual.
Yeah,
to put it lightly. So
hungry,
so
right?
it perhaps that she just like hated him specifically and has been plotting this whole time to take him down, but didn't really care about what the Shard of Odium did afterwards. I don't know.
That's fair, and that may be the case. Yeah, I could go either way with her intentions with Taravangian, whether she wanted him to take over the Shard, or just wanted to have a backup plan in case Dalinar didn't work out and became Odium's champion, and then Taravangian did make a good deal to save humans. And boy, I'm not sure what more can be said on that, but the what's going on with Lift is
Lift is powered by Lifelight, specifically. Night's Radiant, which we know Cultivation can be a part of, because also...
Cultivation's friend?
No, not the Cultivation's friend. The singer who... Venli?
Venli? What about Venli?
I don't entirely know. I lost my point.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Train of thoughts derail all the time.
Anyway, regardless, Lift is powered by Lifelight, which means that she is able to get, I guess, Lifelight. Investiture, yes. From eating food rather than absorbing the Stormlight from other sources of Stormlight.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Word of Brandon states Lift will be a very integral character in the second half of the sequence, or in the second sequence, however you want to phrase that. But he's doing a real good.
Book 6 gets flashbacks from her, right?
I don't know.
One of the books, anyway.
Oh, that'd be yeah. We get Renarin, Yasna, and then I guess Lift. And I'm not sure who the other two would be.
It's Taln and Ash, I believe.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Interesting. Huh. Yeah, okay. Huh. So it's all of the people that showed up to the Battle of Thalen Field.
Yes, yeah. That's actually all 10 of them were there.
Yeah.
On that day. That's a pretty cool detail.
Doing a real cool, kind of cavalry, whatever that trope is. But that makes sense. That makes complete and utter sense. I hope that it really is I hope he stays with that. That'd be great.
I'm really excited for the Taln flashbacks, especially.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Here's hoping we get something from like Ashen.
Oh,
I don't know how far it will go back, but
we definitely
I'm hoping we get. Yeah.
Oh man. Oof! I'm coming.
Only have to wait until like 2049 or something.
Something like that. Yeah. That's another reason to stay fit and not.
Indeed.
And try to. To live healthy is to make it to the end of the Cosmere. In case you need more motivation, listeners. All right. What else is there about cultivation? She's a dragon.
Yes.
And that's cool. And now with Tress, we have... have you read Tress? I don't want to...
Yes, I have.
Okay. Yeah. So now we've seen 2, which is neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Although we never really see cultivation in her dragon form.
No, we don't.
Yeah. Shissus was the first time we saw a dragon. And there actually like be a dragon. So
right.
that was a pretty awesome moment.
It was really, really cool. Such a good book. All right.
And we finally know what Dragonsteel is.
Yeah, we sure do.
Yeah.
Yeah. The word was used as like when you watch a movie and they say the title.
Yeah.
They said it. Oh my God, they said it.
Yeah.
Hey, that was from the thing before.
Yeah. All right. So one of the coolest parts of learning more about the Cosmere as a whole, when you read the Stormlight Archive, or after or before, are the other forms of Cosmere magic that show up on Roshar, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Which Brandon, so we all know from Dragonsteel Con 2022, he was like, the gloves are coming off. We're gonna get more and more connections. I was like, great. Could you not have done that for like all of Stormlight though? Because
there were already a lot of things in Stormlight compared to everything else beforehand.
Absolutely.
I remember, Stormlight was the last series I had read like basically everything else in the Cosmere before reading Stormlight, and I remember thinking how surprised I was how much there was, even just in, well, the Way of Kings not so much, but Words of Radiance, I was surprised that there was already so many connections.
Yeah, no, I read the Stormlight archives first, and then so I got a lot of it from trying to
retroactively.
Retroactively attempt to put those pieces of the puzzle together. Although I think I have read all of the books now several times. It doesn't matter. But it was retrospectively. That was the word that was on the tip of my tongue. But when you're reading it initially, from my point of view, with no other Cosmere knowledge, these things were folded in so well that it was just like, oh, okay. It wasn't like, oh my god. But I think reading Stormlight Archive last would definitely be the way to go. What was our reading order? It doesn't matter. Go listen to our episode on the best Cosmere reading order if you need help with that, listeners. All right. Keep plugging until we die.
Even though this is a spoiler episode for everything, so presumably if you're watching, you've read everything already. But if you want to reread it again,
give it a new test. Go with mine. What did I say? Alphabetical? No. Anyways, doesn't matter. So a major one that shows up that's not hard to spot is Nightblood, which and that just reminds me, Nathaniel, of the first Generic Entertainment video I saw, which was that one where you impersonated Brandon Sanderson, and you were somebody asking a question, and you were like, "What is there?" For some reason, I think I showed that to everybody that had any tangential knowledge on the Cosmere, because I laughed so hard during that video.
Thank you for sharing it. That was the video that exploded my channel, really. Nobody was watching my stuff before then, and then I just kind of did that on a whim, and all of a sudden I started getting views, and I was like, oh, I guess people like Brandon Sanderson.
That was hilarious. I did actually, like, keeping on this tangent, I did want to ask, is that an actual question somebody asked, or did you make that up?
No, I made that up.
That's what I thought.
I just tried to throw in like as many nonsensical sounding Cosmere words as I could. I don't think the question itself is that interesting.
It sounded legit though, and I did want to know the answer to the question, even though I know it's like made up, and it was that was hilarious. Anyways, so Nightblood. I think we've talked about Nightblood on the podcast before.
Oh, absolutely, because Nightblood originates in Warbreaker.
That's right.
And then is obviously going to be instrumental in the entire thing going on.
The Cosmere and the war with the shards and the...
Well, in particular that. I meant right now just Roshar, but you know, the fact is that I believe that, yes, I believe Nightblood did fall into Seth's hands, because he is going to be able to use it in a way that is critical to overcoming him, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. A really, really interesting pairing between Nightblood and Seth.
A very entertaining one, too.
Very entertaining. Sword Nimi. I guess that is more for audiobook listeners, but
still,
so we don't need to talk about that a lot, but we do see breaths starting in Words of Radiance. I think we see breaths in Words of Radiance. We definitely see it in Oathbringer.
Yes. No, I mean, I believe we see it in Way of Kings as well.
Do we?
Because doesn't Kaladin go to see...
Not in Way of Kings.
But I thought he was there at the camp.
Which one?
Who's Zahel?
Wait. Are you talking about Hoyd with
Zyle.
the thing? No. Zyle was in the camp, but Kaladin's interactions with him started taking place in Words of Radiance.
Yeah, because Zahel was in Dalinar's camp, and Kaladin was in Sadius's for the entire
way of
things, so they never met.
I thought the brief period where the laundry seems to be moving in odd ways.
That is at the tower. That's at Urathiru.
Okay.
That's
in Rhythm of War.
It's been a while.
Yeah, Rhythm of War. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. When Kaladin is like, I don't know what to do with my life anymore, and Zyla's like, fight me, in a nice way, kind of.
Right.
And then just disappears for the rest of the book, and we have no idea what he was doing.
Yeah. No.
During
probably.
the siege.
Vivenna showed up off screen, and they fought, and it'll be revealed in the novella Nightblood coming out at some point in the future.
Well, I mean, I do want to know what happened to Ravenna after the whole situation at what's that city?
Celebrians, right? Or right in Shadesmar, right?
In Shadesmar, yeah.
Celebrians.
Yeah.
Or is it Celebrians? I don't know how to pronounce it.
In the audiobook, Michael Kramer says celebrants, I think.
Oh, okay.
Like celebrate, right? Because
I mean, well, like, it's interesting because her sword obviously is very much like Nightblood, but is forged using a different phrase, clearly, for obvious reasons. But obviously is something like a shard blade, although not a shard blade.
Yeah. We need more Azure. We need more Azure.
We do need more Azure. I think what's interesting to me is that Nightblood is so powerful with just 10,000... Wait, 1,000 or is it 10,000?
I think it's 10,000.
10,000 breaths.
Or is it 1,000? No, it's 10,000. 9,000? Somewhere around there.
I don't remember.
I think it takes 10,000.
I'm going to Google it.
It's either 9 or 10,000 to awaken steel.
Right. But, like, it doesn't seem like Azure's blade is anything but a really good sword, which it might have powers we haven't been shown yet.
Sure.
But
powers of invisibility, and she was there during the siege of the tower. And we'll get that in somebody else's flashbacks in like book 7. That's probably not.
That'd be quite a big retcon.
That'd be something.
Yeah. If that was going to be the case, we could have at least gotten an interlude. Brandon, come on.
Yeah.
If you're going to do something like that.
Regular breaths.
Okay, 1,000 awakened steel.
Yeah. However, apparently it has been compared to Susebron. Who was Susebron?
Susebron was the God King.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
And he had 10,000.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe.
Sorry.
Wait, I thought he was of the highest heightening, Susebron.
Yeah.
Didn't he have like? So wouldn't he have like 50,000?
That was actually It said it has been compared to Susebron, making it possible that his current investiture is roughly equivalent to over 50,000.
Right, because as Nightblood eats more investiture, he gains more heightenings.
Right.
Oh damn.
So so we have like no idea what he would be at.
But here's the thing. So the interesting thing is that, like, ignoring what investiture Nightblood has, absorbed currently. The fact that such a powerful shard-breaking item could be made with just 1,000 breaths.
Crazy.
Because, don't get me wrong, I know it was just the body.
Right.
But, I mean, that's what took out Odium and made Terravodium, was Nightblood. Striking at it. And so it's just like...
Yeah.
It's kind of an insane level of power for... I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand 1,000 breaths is literally from 1,000 people, but it still doesn't seem like it's that much investiture for the effect we are getting.
Yeah. Now that's... maybe he'll reveal more about the process and maybe it was a little more special. I don't know.
I wonder if Nightblood still could have done the same thing with Odium though, if like Zeth had stabbed Odium with the Nightblood as he was when he was just created, like before he had consumed a ton of investiture over the course of his life.
And an important one, because we don't honestly know. It may have been the fact that Nightblood has been collecting investiture this entire time that even allowed him to absorb Odium's vessel, I guess, for lack of a better word.
I'm calling it now. Hoyd collects all the types of investiture from all the shards and then stabs himself with Nightblood, who has been super overpowered by that point. And that is what will bring Adelnasium back.
I mean, I agree with the first part. I don't think he's going to stab himself with Nightblood.
Because he can't die or something like that. But maybe Nightblood can kill him and release his special whatever.
See.
And he'll also have all the Dawn shards, and it'll be in the heart of a dying star or something like that. And then that's calling it now. All right, let's bookmark this episode for the future and come back to it. All right, so we do see moving on, because the night is not young.
No.
We have Allomancy. Allomancy has been spotted on Roshar.
Yes.
In a really horrifying way.
Wait, are we talking about hemalurgy?
No, we're talking about Allomancy.
What? You're going to have to remind me.
I will. Nathaniel, do you remember?
Is it confirmed that emotional allomancy has been used?
Yes, I believe it has been confirmed. Yeah.
I don't know what specific scenes though that would be in.
Essentially, I don't know if it's specific scenes, but somebody in the Devar household, Shallan's family, somebody was using emotional allomancy.
Oh, seriously?
That is.
I did not know that.
Yeah, if I'm remembering the words of Brandon right.
Oh, that's horrible.
That is potentially one of the Ghost Bloods was, yes, it is horrible.
And I mean, it makes sense with the Ghost Bloods, because we know that the Ghost Bloods, have all sorts of powers at their disposal, to be perfectly honest. So
Shallan's past just keeps getting worse. Every piece of information we learn about it.
It really does.
Never stops.
It does not stop. No. So that, and I believe that's the only time we've seen allomancy, unless Hoyd has done something, which I don't think he has.
Not so far, I don't believe.
So
I imagine he probably has, but like nothing obvious.
Right. And then, like we talked about earlier in the episode, the words midnight essence were used.
Right.
Which I did not connect myself. I saw that somewhere else. After Tress.
I didn't immediately connect that either, but looking back, I'm going to want to read
The Way of Kings and Words of Radiance.
Well, and Tress of the Emerald Sea as well, because if that's the case, does that mean that, like... Because we also see, what's her name? The unmade that made all the people that Shallan scared off with her actual...
Shafir.
Is it? I thought it was Bayada Mishram.
No, Baedo Mishram was the one who enslaved all of the singers and took away their forms. Or who caused all the singers to go into their slaves' forms after she was like kind of... I don't know exactly what happened to her. That's going to be book 5 where you find out what happened to her. But yeah, Ray Shafir, if I'm recalling correctly, was the one that Shallan confronted in Urithiru.
Okay.
And the one that was making all of those midnight essence creatures.
Right. That's what I'm saying, is that, like, it's interesting that if the midnight essence creatures are the same as the black spores, does that mean that the spren, that specific spren, is connected to the there's a term,
to the prime aether.
The prime aethers, because we know that the prime aethers are a power separate from
Adelnasium
and investiture. They are their own thing that existed contemporary to Adelnasium. But it'll be interesting if the Unmade is connected, that a shard that made Unmade was somehow connected to something that was separate from... You see where I'm finding the interest here. Like it's going to be fascinating to see how that's all connected.
It is.
Has it? I don't think it's been confirmed that it's the same Midnight Essence.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I believe it. It probably is because it has like the same sort of properties. But I really wish Brandon would do a spoiler stream for Tress, because we need to ask some of these questions.
Yeah. Honestly,
to confirm it.
What I wish Brandon would just do is release a fucking encyclopedia. Like,
too early. It's too early.
I know.
But with every book, though, we have new questions that we want to ask, and we only get so many spoiler streams to ask those questions. So
that's true.
It's just true. Like, if it is the same Midnight Essence, how is it connected? Why? Like,
or is it not the same, and we have some sort of unreliable narrator going on?
I mean, that's quite possibly, because like
it could very much be.
Also, why did what's her name settle in the middle of the Midnight Sea, like the witch? Like, why did she think that was the prime location to settle in?
Probably because she found it easy to control the Midnight Essence creatures. Like, she figured out how to do that early on, and so she figured that would be like the most defensible place to set up her rocket ship.
Yeah. Her mini Eurothiru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no. If it was if she was a mini...
Which one?
What was the first book?
Elantris?
Yeah, it'd be a mini Elantris, not a mini Eurothiru.
Yeah, but I mean, like, tower shaped tower.
No, I get it. But like, if it was an Elantrian, it would be a mini Elantris.
Yeah, that's fair. And then the only other one that I know of off the top of my head, sort of, is AVR, and there are at least 2 AVR on Roshar. Mraize has one, and now I believe Lift has one.
Right.
At the end of Rhythm of War.
Oh, yeah.
And to anybody that's just reading the Stormlight Archive, you're like, it's a parrot. Okay. And then when
it's a chicken.
It's a chicken.
Yeah, it's a chicken.
Well, but a real life person would go, oh, that chicken is a parrot.
That is
yeah.
One of my favorite things. It's such a minor thing, but it is absolutely my favorite thing. The word chicken is the replacement for bird on Roshar.
So I really want to know why.
I would
just like, how did that happen?
Okay, my assumption is that, I mean, I assume that multiple cultures got to Roshar via multiple ways.
Okay.
And I'm going to assume that Roshar does not have its own native birds.
Okay.
Like, there are no native bird. And so the first birds that a culture encountered from another was the chicken.
Sure.
And in the way of mistaken translations, they assumed that chicken was the broad name rather than for a specific breed.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then the Iriali were over there and like, that's a bird. Why are they calling it chicken?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, well, better blend in. It's a chicken.
Right.
I wonder what they call like actual chickens then.
Prime chicken.
Yeah.
The other white meat. I do want to know. I want to know because Adolin eats chicken every time before a duel. Is it actually chicken, or is it a different bird?
The world may never know.
I bet somebody's asked Brandon that, and it's in the copper mine somewhere in the Word of Brandon's, and I don't know if I have the energy to go look it up. But I am curious to know what the AVR powers are going to grant Lift and or are granting Mraize.
Yeah. We really don't know much about AVRs in general.
We don't.
Six of the Dust doesn't give us that many details.
It doesn't.
No.
We just...
And I want I don't know if it would even give us more details, but I want the Kingmaker book.
Yeah. That'd be
yes,
great.
Yeah, I want that.
Maybe that'll be one of the secret projects.
I was kind of hoping it would be. I was kind of hoping he would finish that as part of one of the secret projects, but I don't know if he did, and I kind of want to go in.
But he already announced it beforehand, so then it wouldn't be a truly secret project.
You're right.
Yeah, that's true.
And he wanted it, for the sake of the drama, he wanted it to be something nobody knew about.
For the sake of the drama. No truer words have been spoken.
I still love the phrase, and it's only tangentially connected, but it reminded me, which is the Venn diagram between good drama and healthy healthy relationship behavior has an incredibly slim overlap, which almost exclusively contains hugging and making apologies.
Wow. Oh, man. Okay, have we seen any other forms of investiture on Roshar?
Well, we've seen Aether's we already talked about Midnight Essence, but technically we saw I believe a Rosite Aether really briefly in Words of Radiance, although we didn't know that's what it was.
Yes. Yeah. You're right.
It's like a blink and you miss it moment, but it's technically there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course, while we're at it, there's White Sand as well. Which we see which plays a pretty important role in Rhythm of War, actually.
Yes, it does. Even though it's not used by a sand shaper. Is that what they're called?
Yeah,
I don't know. I haven't read
the Sandmasters.
Sandmaster, thank you. That's the term I was looking for. Yeah. No, the fact that it turns black in the presence of investiture.
Well, I think what happens is. It's like black initially, and then it turns white as it gets invested. And they put it next to one of the Fabrial gemstones, and it slowly turns white over the course of time.
I couldn't remember which direction it went, but I do remember that the sunlight is what invests. And actually, it's not the sand itself; it's actually a form of lichen on the sand.
Yeah,
a lichen that is likened to sand.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And then anything else?
And the fact is, I don't. Well, anyway. Never mind.
Okay.
I was going to be incredibly pedantic, but
okay.
I was going to say I don't know if really we could count the sand as a form of investiture, because. I think the investiture is the ability to control it, which not everybody has. So, while the lichen on the sand has investiture, the ability to control it as a sandmaster is specific and apparently semi-genetic.
You know what? That is pedantic, and I'm gonna cut it off there.
There we go.
I'm just kidding. Wow, that made my brain hurt.
Apparently a lot of the... I'm really regretting not backing the White Sand Indiegogo, because apparently all of the Ars Arcanum pages have answers to stuff like that. I saw a couple of them. Yeah, there's some, it's one of the most comprehensive, Ars Arcanums, apparently.
I am so happy right now.
Yeah.
We're just...
there's just a lot there.
We're still waiting for our deluxe signed hardcover slipcase, whatever editions to come in.
It's been taking a fucking year.
Yeah. Oh well, life goes on.
It does. I'm still
we'll get them eventually. Hopefully.
I know we will eventually. Now I just want it more though. I want it fucking now. Give me my answers, damn it.
They released one of the, or I think a couple of the pages of the Ars Arcanum on the Indiegogo website, or on not the Indiegogo website, on the Dynamite Comics website. There's a page that details some things about Taldane's unusual rotation, or not the Taldane system. It provides a lot of details on how it works, basically.
Neat.
It's a whole page of just astronomy. It's pretty interesting stuff. And then there's a lot more about the sands in other pages. So
gonna have to deep dive into that real hard.
Do we count Dawn Shards as a separate form of investiture?
I guess technically they...
I guess so. Maybe. I mean, it's a powerful magic.
Right. Also, whatever Cheery is.
I mean, it eats investiture.
Right. But is it native to Roshar?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
From the Isle of Amia? Yeah.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if that was another form of investiture because it eats investiture, so I would count that as something separate than Stormlight or the Surges.
I guess we'll probably find out more. Yeah,
and then there's also there's also the Imeans themselves who seem to have some weird abilities.
That's true.
It's kind of unclear if it's investiture or if it's just a native. Like the one we've only seen one of this type of Imean. What's his name?
What is his name?
I don't remember.
Why am I drawing a blank on his name?
Probably because it's weird.
But the guy who is like able to make tattoos anywhere on himself.
Yeah.
That seems like it could be a form of investiture, but we really get like nothing about him.
Absolutely nothing. And then also the Sleepless. Is that a form of investiture? Or is that just an alien creature? I wouldn't say.
It's like a hive mind thing. So the way they're able to communicate telepathically could totally be just like due to their biology.
Yeah. It's hard to say.
But I don't think.
And it's hard to say if they're native to Roshar either. Like, I mean, I assume they are, but we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's only a couple on Roshar out of the 24 that Sanderson has said exist.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, no, a lot of questions.
But I mean, I would say we've encountered. I would say at least the Dawn Shard is a separate form of investiture
of some sort.
Yeah, and now what's her name has it?
Risen,
and
she was explicitly told not to bond to a Spren. So now I can't see any possibility where that doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So really, she's gonna. Because we know.
Although I found it interesting that after she got the Dawn Shard, she seemed to exhibit
the same
things as a breath. Lightning.
She had
the more vibrant colors and things like that. So that was interesting.
It was, but we know the people from Ashen got to Roshar because, I think I read this correctly. Was it a bondsmith was being powered by a Dawn Shard? There's something like that. I'm gonna have to reread that because I read it like yesterday and I'm not sure I read it correctly.
Well, and it keeps coming up that it seems like breaths are incredibly powerful compared to other investiture, because if the first heightening is truly comparable to something that a Dawn Shard is doing, which is one of the words of like creation. Maybe. And then we have Nightblood, which was able to literally drink in a shard. Like,
Endowment is just like, you get investiture and you get investiture. And
yeah, I don't know, it's just one of those things where it seems like the breaths are being shown more and more to be incredibly powerful.
Yes.
So,
with a pretty good limitation on him too.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, but that I think that's probably all for the third episode of the Magic of Roshar.
I believe so. Yes.
Do you have anything more to say, Nathaniel? On
I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
That we didn't cover specifically. No.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well, I'll consider that a success.
Indeed.
We'll go ahead and do our outro now.
All right. So until next time, stay safe, World Hoppers.
Life before death, strength before weakness, and
journey before destination.
The music you hear is Part 3, The Spirit, from Zavadilla's The Music of Elantris, produced by B-Roll Records. Available now on Apple Music, Spotify, and most music providers.
If you like what you hear and you want others to hear it as well, please leave a rate and review. It really helps us get more listeners.